going to leave Canada for jihad. And I said, what is jihad? He said, jihad is to be trained in the military to give your life for Islam. I said, so what's nothing wrong? Okay, what's the problem? And he left for Canada and went to speak with his brother and the 17 others that were going to jihad in Afghanistan. And the brother left a few weeks after my husband came back from Canada. And from 1993 to 1996, we did not hear anything. My husband was very hardworking, very controlling, but he was never home, so I could do a little bit of what I wanted to do with the children. And in 1996, the brother-in-law announced that he was coming back to Memphis. We were living in Memphis. And I told my husband, I don't want to see your brother in my house because the letter that you received in 1993, I had it translated, and it's not a good letter. It's threatening my children and I. Well, he said, you don't have a choice. Or you leave the house, or you take my brother as a guest. And I took the brother. The brother came back. He was very polite. I know he was a very religious guy. He was nice with me. One night he asked me, he said, may I look the news? I said, yes. I was very surprised because he did not want my children to watch any movie, especially the Disney movie where you can see Pocahontas kissing the guy. This is not good at all. He did not want his nephew to watch that movie. So I said, yes, please, watch the news. Nothing happened. Very disappointed, he went to bed. 2 o'clock in the morning, the phone rang. It was a call from Saudi Arabia. I want to speak with Aysam. I said, sir, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody is sleeping. The man was very, very rude. I gave my brother-in-law. The next day, he asked me, and he said, oh, somebody's going to be my in-law over in Saudi Arabia. Don't worry about it. 11 o'clock at night, he asked for the news again. And here we are, breaking news. Khobar Tower. All of a sudden, he jumped out of his seat and he said, we got them. And I looked and said, you got them what? The American? The Americans think they are going to rule the world. They don't know what it is to have a war on their own soil, but pretty soon they will. And listening to those words, I start looking at the tower, at the Khobar Tower with all the disaster. I immediately think of the Twin Tower because in 1993, they already had tried to bomb the Twin Tower, and the blind check was in the mosque where my husband used to go, where all his friends went, and when I sat for a while with my children. And I said, that's it. From 1996 to 1998, I watched the mail, I watched the news, and I knew that by the email that was coming from my brother-in-law that found a job in Florida in a religious foundation, that they were on the verge to attack this country, and it was going to be very bad. That the Twin Tower was going to go first, but also in one of the emails, looking like a skeleton in the hand, we had a map of the United States and flashing, exploding city like New York, Washington, Miami, Las Vegas, were the most important explosion. The rest was small lights. 1998, when I just knew, I said, I have to speak with somebody. I went back to France, and I spoke with a priest, and I told the priest, they are going to attack the United States of America. What should I do? He said, the last thing you have to do is to walk into an FBI office, because you never know, they have a lot of rotten apple in that office. So he said, go and see a priest in the United States. That's what I did. I went to see a priest in Memphis and introduced me to an ATF agent, and I told him about the jihad. And it's like I was talking Hebrew to the guy. He said, oh, you are a nice wife that is looking for something against her husband. I said, well, sir, can I speak? He said, do you know anybody in the FBI that has a normal attitude and I can trust? Yes. They had a friend. So I met with the FBI agent, Tim Boucher, and Tim had 30 years of terrorism in Chicago. So he understood immediately the problem. And almost every week I met with Tim and bring some information to him. As I knew that it was coming soon, I could not figure out any time, but I knew it was going to happen. Finally, in September 11, arrived. I was driving back from the school with my children, and I went to my computer straight. When I saw the Twin Tower, I had no doubt about that, and it was no surprise to me. So I went to my computer, and 6 hours before the Twin Tower got down, we had an email from his brother saying that he is sending his friend around this country, please welcome them. And it was a picture of some men in a truck with the Muslim hat. I said, okay. And I spoke with my BI agent, and I said, he said, there is nothing I can do anymore. So the man retired from the FBI, and when my husband came back home after September 11, he started showing his true face. I knew that I was sleeping with the enemy. He threatened my life, because this time I was not silent. I start talking. If I stay silent from 1998 to 2001, if I took all the controlling and everything, it's because in my mind I always had the picture of the thousands of crosses of American soldiers that lay in Normandy over there and came to liberate my country. And I knew that this country was under a very big danger. I said, I had a choice to leave with my 2 boys and go back. I said, no, I'm going to stay, and I'm going to wait and try to prevent it by giving all the information I can. But it did not happen. And my husband, after 2001, September 11, became a monster, because he thought that they were winning, or they already had a foot in the United States. And it was hell. He threatened to kill me. He took a sword in a store and passed it on my throat and said, that's what I would like to do with that sword. He told me he's a doctor, he's a very good doctor, he can inject me at night with something that will kill me and nobody will find out where it's coming from. He said, in Memphis I can hire a black guy for $1,500, $1,000 that can kill you, and nobody will know. He starts threatening my children. My son is here. He told them that he will be happy if they blow them up for Islam. I asked him, we had a lot of confrontation, and when I stand, because I was standing for Israel, he said, I know what you are. You are a Zionist, and you know what we do with Zionists? We kill them. It was a nightmare. So in end of 2002, I spoke with a friend because I was totally alone in Memphis. I had nobody, as my first FBI agent had asked me not to talk to anybody, to destroy any evidence, and not to speak at all about that because I was in a very dangerous situation. I spoke with a friend, and I told her, I said, I cannot take it anymore because this time my children are suffering. she said, well, I'm going to introduce you to another FBI agent. You have to do something. I was introduced to Jim Radatz. He was a rotten apple. In 2004, when my husband decided that he will going to take the children to Syria, he had taken the